All right, good morning, YouTube and Twitch fans out there. Welcome aboard once again. It's Captain Nabs here with you on another morning shift of ATC here in the VATSIM network. This morning we are working here in Toronto Centre. It's not a particularly exciting morning yet. Hoping that the fact that we're here, it's a weekend, will draw in some traffic. Definitely when you show up online. And I don't know why you guys are not hearing that, but give me a second, I'll figure it out. Jazz 642 Toronto, good morning. The altimeter in Toronto is 3056. If you got a moment, squawk 0576. Jazz 642, you're identified. Altimeter Toronto 3056. On present heading, cleared the ILS 24. Did you say 24 right or left? Jazz 642, present heading, cleared ILS 24 right. Okay, so why? I can hear the ATC. Why is it not showing up for you guys? So something's going on weirdly here. Let me try this. There. That should hopefully make it so you guys can hear the ATC, and my apologies that it was not set up properly before. Sometimes it takes one radio call to figure it all out, so thank you guys anyways for sticking with me. Hopefully you heard that a little bit in the background through my speaker, and you'll hear it a little bit more as we go through and go through our day.
Toronto Centre, good morning. Canadian Express 138 here with you, looking for VFR clearance from North Bay to Ottawa.
Canadian Express 138 Toronto, good morning. You said VFR, correct?
Correct.
All right, Canadian Express 138, North Bay is uncontrolled, so you can depart at your discretion. I do have the North Bay weather, winds showing 260 magnetic at 7 knots, altimeter 3042. If you like, I can give you the whole weather sequence.
That's all right, I got it from the METAR already.
Canadian Express 138, roger. So depart North Bay at your discretion on Unicom. If you'd like VFR flight following, once you get up in the air, just give me a call back on this frequency.
Okay, will do. Canadian Express 138, thank you.
Unfortunately, he's VFR, so that doesn't doesn't really provide much service for us. But anyways. Jazz 138, Toronto winds are calm, the altimeter 3056, you're clear to land, runway 24 right. I assume this is working. Jazz 642, Toronto, the winds are calm, clear to land, runway 24 right.
Runway 24 right, Jazz 642.
Maybe it's me, but that actually seems a little bit high, so I'm going to just adjust it downwards a little bit there. Try and find kind of a happy medium where you guys can obviously hear it, but I don't want it so loud that it's deafening you or completely blasting out over me. So, anyways. One thing that I do like about Twitch streaming better than YouTube streaming is that they have a better system for chatting with users using your smartphone or other device using their app alongside your computer, which of course just makes it easier if you're not doing things, if you're not trying to do everything on the same screen. That is probably one of the biggest problems with so many of these devices is that everybody wants you to be to be on your device, but you can only do so many things on one device at one time. And this is probably the biggest problem, I think, with EFBs in the modern world. EFBs are a fantastic, useful tool to have a tablet replace a whole library of paper. Not only is it, of course, less weight for the less weight for the aircraft, less weight for the crew member to have to carry around, but also generally it's all searchable as well, so that if you're looking for something very specific out of a document, if you have a good keyword you can search for, you can search through a document fairly quickly and find exactly what you're looking for. So if you're looking for certain thing out of the ops manual, like the land and hold short policies or something like that, you can find them very quickly and easily in an iPad. Assuming it's a fast enough iPad. I did have a problem at one airline where the iPads were so slow that you could pull out the old-fashioned manual and flip through it, and you'd usually reach your solution fast in searching through the iPad. But the biggest problem with it is that having everything on one place makes it very hard to compare things. So case in point, when you're trying to look over the NOTAMs at a certain airport that maybe you haven't been to for a while, and there's a lot of closed taxiways, and then your charts are also on the same device, so trying to flip back and forth between the NOTAM page of your flight plan, which is on your device, and then switch back to your taxiways, which are also on your device, a lot of switching back and forth to try and identify information. So sometimes it doesn't work when you're trying to compare different pieces of information. Alright, looks like you did make echo. Jazz 642, welcome to Toronto. Right turn on Delta, cross 33 right, Alpha. Do you have a particular gate?
We're doing gate 11 today. So gate 111, I guess?
Yeah, it'll be gate 111 then. Yeah, so Delta, Alpha, you can enter the apron at Alpha Kilo.
Okay, Delta, cross 33 right, Alpha, and Alpha Kilo. Jazz 647, or 642.
You're right. Alrighty. And that's it. That was the one airplane we had for now. But one thing about Toronto is that it doesn't fail to usually lure in people as long as you're online, and we are online, then people do often come. We do have the one VFR departure. We got a bunch of inbounds from overseas. I'm just looking at the VATSPI right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aircraft inbound from overseas. Somewhere across the pond. The closest one, of course, about 3 hours away, so we're probably not going to be online for that one. But hopefully just the fact that we're here, it's a Saturday, there's already 1,700 people connected to the network. What blows my mind, too, is the popularity of this network, and I'm sure it'll probably wane as the weather gets a little nicer in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's incredible how many people are online these days on the VATSIM network. Just your typical day now is up to like levels that like Cross the Pond used to achieve. 1,700 on a typical Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon in Europe. It blows me away that this many people are on this network all the time. That's great. It's good, and it's good to see like this many people on here. Alright, just trying to pull up my chat screen on my other screen here, so if you guys want to talk about anything, please feel free. Let's see here. There we are. Alright, just trying to get my chat window up on my other device so that I can actually chat with you guys while I'm... there we are. There it is. Without having to distract myself from the ATC screen. So for all of you guys watching, welcome. Thank you for coming to Thanks for coming to watch this morning. It's a little quiet right now. I won't lie, but I'm hoping that with a little bit of time, it'll get a little bit busier here. It's funny the little forces of habit you get into too. So there's a yeah, funny little habits you get into. So, for example, there's a hotkey to switch between all the different views, the ATC views here in the radar scope here. And I find myself sometimes when I'm trying to switch between different tasks and windows, I start pressing that key. I get into such a mindset that this is the swap view key that I'll use it in all sorts of different software applications, and it's like it doesn't work. It's specific to Euroscope. So it's funny the little habits that you get into that you don't even realize that you pick up along the way, things that just become hardwired into your brain as a habit. It is a bit of a snooze right now. We have 3 airplanes that are going to cross our airspace before too long. We got an Empress and a WestJet coming in from the northwest, and a Qatari coming in from the northeast. They're both going to cross our airspace. As it is right now, 39, 35, and 36, they're all altitude separated. I could not talk to them, and it will probably work out just fine as long as nobody wants to step climb at the wrong moment. But yeah, it's not particularly exciting right now. And one interesting thing I note too is that Montreal Center is online. However, this guy here is not squawking the correct code. Montreal's assigned him a code, but he hasn't started squawking it yet. Oh, there's the Canadian Express. Looks like he's airborne out of... It should not have correlated him, but it did. Weird. Because he's squawking a generic 1200 VFR code, it shouldn't have correlated him, but anyways, that's a little strange. But here's hoping something will happen here in a little bit. This guy will talk to us anyways, nothing else. I had originally intended to do this stream yesterday, but it just, unfortunately, something happened to the internet in my entire neighborhood yesterday. I don't know exactly what. I never did find out. But, of course, Rogers being the typical expert company that they are, some people said one thing, some people said another thing. The first person I talked to said, oh yes, I see your whole neighborhood seems to have an issue. That doesn't look right. We'll send some people out there to fix it. Then I talked to somebody 3 or 4 hours later to get an update, and they're like, oh no, everything's working fine in your neighborhood. If you're not getting internet, then there must be a problem on your end. So of course I scheduled a service visit, and then later that afternoon go out for a dog walk, and there's like 6 Rogers trucks on the street, crowded around one of the cable boxes. So yeah, I guess it was not my issue. It was a neighborhood issue, because after they had left, the internet worked just fine last night without the service visit, because that was scheduled for this morning. So I wonder why I stick with this company. I think sometimes the inertia of just having the system set up, and it works most of the time, but then it's those days where it doesn't work, which make you question, like, why am I still with this company? Should I be switching soon? Because it's definitely not inexpensive, and they definitely are not very useful when it comes to tech support. The first guy I talked to, actually, he was fairly useful and knowledgeable, and actually seemed to understand what was going on, but the next person I talked to was just completely clueless. And unfortunately, you're just kind of stuck. You play a little bit of it's a little bit of a roulette game when you're playing, when you're calling tech support, especially at Rogers. You don't know who you're going to get. And there are a few people at Rogers that are very knowledgeable about what they do. But then for every person that is knowledgeable, there's about 10 of them that are just simply reading the script. And it's like, yes, I have rebooted the modem 17 times already. I could reboot it again, but I can guarantee you it ain't going to make a difference. That kind of condescending attitude sometimes just really bugs me. I get that they have to sometimes, assume the worst. But if somebody says like, yes, I know what I'm doing. I know how to reboot the modem. That's the first step when things are not working. Is you reboot it. Then if it's not working, and I know how to log in and read the log file of the modem, and I can give you a lot more information than you probably could ever deal with as a customer service rep. So just call the techs into the neighborhood to fix the problem. Don't sit there and belittle me with, did you reboot the modem? Is your Wi-Fi working? Are any of your devices able to connect to the internet? I have been working with and around computers for 30 years. I know how to diagnose problems on the most basic level. I can't deal with stuff that's out in the cable network, but I know how to diagnose problems within my own house. And I hate that condescending, well, it might just be your Wi-Fi's down. No. If the Wi-Fi's down, I would understand and know how to fix that problem. Yeah, sometimes that attitude just really gets to me. All right, here's hoping we get a little bit of traffic in here, because right now it's a bit of a snooze, but I think with a little bit more time, hopefully we'll draw on some traffic. It is a Saturday morning. It's at this point, more than anything, it's just a little bit of a patience game. All right, there we go. So we got a promise from Jazz that he's going to come back. He's going to do another flight back out of Toronto. He's just going to grab himself a cup of coffee and then boot himself up for another flight. So that's great. And we also have a flight plan here out of Oshawa, which is great. Skycraft or Skyways? Skycraft. This airline's been flying a little bit around Toronto, which is great. It's good to see some people support this. Some of the smaller airports, especially Oshawa, is an airport that gets very little love in the VATSIM network. It's not a busy airport at all, so it's nice to see them get a little bit of love here. Winds 220 at 5, so I would expect 2-3. Although he'll probably want 3-0. Yeah, probably 3-0 for departure. Assign some stuff there. Oh, it's VFR anyways. Never mind. Oh, he did get him online eventually. Haha. The squawk codes match now. So we're about to get some people. If I can get it to do this, there we go. And we'll send contact me over to these guys as well. We'll get a whole bunch of people talking at the same time here. Alright, sometimes it just takes a little bit of patience, jump a little bit of business.
547 is 34 miles to the west of the Marathon VOR, flight level 390.
Empress 547, Toronto Center, good morning, squawk it in.
Add in, 547.
Empress 547, thank you very much. Your radar identified, flight level 390, welcome. Apparently R2-D2 is his co-pilot. What was that? R2-D2 is my co-pilot. I should get a license plate or a sticker for my flight bag that says that R2D2 is my co-pilot. That would be awesome. There must be somebody must have made like a bumper sticker that says that by now. That would be hilarious. I think we got one of them. Anybody else want to check in with me here? We got one. It's a start.
Toronto Center, WestJet 25, flight level 350 with you from Montreal.
Oh, WestJet 25, Toronto Center, good morning. Squawk it in. So because these guys have not been identified previously, no controller's been talking to them, or at least has not been talking to them continuously, we can't be sure of who they are, so that's why we need some sort of a confirmation. That's what the squawk it in function is for. You see the little flash. WestJet 25, Toronto, thank you. You're identified. Continue on course.
Continue on course, WestJet 25.
So you see that little flash, and that's how you confirm that that is the aircraft that you think it is. So it's there's a number of different ways to radar identify an aircraft. Most of them are kind of not particularly valid anymore. Some of them are ancient. You can actually issue turns for radar identification. You can issue two 60-degree turns, and that's considered sufficient if the aircraft does the two different 60-degree turns that you specify for radar identification. What an
Good
ancient...
evening, Toronto Center, Qatari 8026 Heavy, flight level 360.
Qatari 8026 Heavy, Toronto Center, flight level 360. Welcome. Some of these forms of radar identification are so ancient that we just don't even really consider using them on the VATSIM network. This really dates to like the dawn of like the jet age, the dawn of the dawn of ATC, really, like especially the dawn of radar control. Like it's unbelievable how
Toronto
old.
Center, this is JetBlue 353. I'm not 100% sure if we're in your airspace. Do you mind just checking, or do you want us to go back onto Unicom?
JetBlue 353. What's your location?
We are currently direct chap, Charlie Hotel Alpha Alpha Papa.
JetBlue 353, is that you at flight level 260?
Affirm.
JetBlue 353, affirmative. That route is designed to keep you exclusively out of our airspace. So you can remain on Unicom 122.8. Thanks for checking, though. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, 122.3. Have a good day, JetBlue 353.
See ya. Yeah, that's one of those ones right there. And it's a common route between like the New York area and Chicago, and it's designed to just perfectly track just south of our airspace. It actually does technically pass through Canada, but this is part of Canada's airspace that was designated to Cleveland because there was constant switching back and forth. The airplanes were passing through Cleveland airspace, and they'd pass through Toronto for about 100 miles or so, and they go back into Cleveland airspace. So a long time ago it was decided it'd just be easier if the Cleveland controllers just keep control of that section and let the aircraft just overfly rather than switch them back. So a long time ago that was decided that it would be handed off directly. Alright, so there's 3 airplanes. Nothing much exciting going on there, but we'll get some of these airplanes out there anyway soon. What's the route of this? Oh, the Skycraft guy disappeared just as quickly. Alright, so now we got another one here on the ground, MPH 285. Boeing 747 going to Amsterdam. Verto 6 all the way to Iptos works for me. 23 for departure. We'll assign him a squawk code, and he's ready to go whenever he calls up. And just like that, Bob's your uncle, he's ready. Let's see what else is going on in here this morning.
Toronto Center, good morning. Merchant Cargo 285 Charlie at Toronto Airport. Request airfare clearance to Amsterdam with Lima information.
Martin Air. Martin Air 285 Charlie, Toronto Center. Good morning. You're cleared to Amsterdam Schiphol via the Birdo 6 departure, Iptos transition, and flight plan route. Depart runway 23, squawk code 0564.
We clear to Amsterdam Schiphol via Birdo 6 with Iptos transition, departure runway 23 and squawk 0564. Merchant Cargo 285 Charlie.
Runner 285 Charlie, your readback is all correct. Information is Mike in Toronto. Push back and start up at your discretion and call ready for taxi.
Actually, information Mike and taxi start weapon works are all discretion and will report for taxi. Merchant Cargo 285 Charlie.
Roger. There we go, we got another one. We got a live one. Slowly but surely. We're going to get more and more people online here. Yeah, sometimes that's all it is here. It's just a waiting game in VATSIM of just, not even necessarily a waiting game, but just trying to get people, just trying to be on here long enough to provide a good option for people to fly in and out of. And that's basically what we're doing right now, is just trying to give people a good place to fly. What else is going on here? Still nothing, huh? I think we lost one of our airplanes up there. No, we did. We still got them all. The Canadian Express is VFR 9500. He's in uncontrolled airspace. He does not need to talk to anybody if he doesn't want to. It's completely his call, so I guess he's not going to talk to anybody to get to the tower. That's fine by me. I'm here. I'm ready to provide the service if you want it, but yeah, there's a lot of uncontrolled airspace out there, and it's at the end of the day, it's funny, like the amount of people that log into the VATSIM network and then don't actually want ATC service sometimes. I think some virtual airlines, you know, like you need to log in for logging and tracking purposes, so that's kind of what some people are there for, is they're there because they want to be tracked, they want to be logged with their virtual airline. So I think that's why some people do it, but sometimes it just, you know, it seems kind of silly. Like it's a lot of effort to file a flight plan on VATSIM and log in, and then not talk to ATC at all. Maybe he's just going to talk just to the tower controller when he gets there. Maybe that's his plan. I don't know. I don't know yet. Hopefully in the next 15 or 20 minutes we'll start to lure in a bunch more people. Looks like we have lured in a couple people. We got one person getting ready to depart Montreal to come to Toronto. And we have one, as I said, we have one departure on the ground right now. That Jazz flight said he was going to come back and do another return flight. So let's see what that amounts to, if anything. Let's see. Come on, guys. Let's get some traffic going here. It's a bit disappointingly quiet here today. It is a snooze, isn't it? Come on, guys. Let's get some traffic out. Well, we got one guy. He's not really gonna do anything. He's just gonna cross our airspace. Well, somebody to talk to. Get this Empress out of there eventually. These guys are gonna cross soon. Yeah, they're gonna cross soon. Not particularly close. I think that. Let's see here. Yeah, not particularly close. About 40 miles apart. That's not particularly close. Come on, guys. Oh, we got another one here. We got Air Canada 404 now. All right, there we go. We're starting to get a little bit of build-up traffic here. Takes a little while. Dead key 4, Miglo, Abs. That's all correct. Give him a squawk code as well. And actually, this guy did read back a squawk code, and was cleared to push, so let's leave it at that. Sometimes you just gotta have something else to do. Some days it's busy, and some days it's not. I was flying into Los Angeles the other day, and this guy was working hard. Los Angeles is a nice sector too because it's got quite a few major airports within it. It's got obviously the absolute center of its world of Los Angeles itself, but then you've also got Vegas, which is kind of like it's it's to Los Angeles what Ottawa is to Toronto, except that it's much bigger than Ottawa. It's not quite on par with Los Angeles, but it's a fairly busy airport. There's a lot of, and it's one of those. It's not even. It's busy, but it's also one of those ubiquitous airports that so many people think of when they think of flying. They say, "Oh, Las Vegas. I'd love to fly in and out of Vegas. Great scenery. Maybe I can hit up the slot machines afterwards. It's one of those places that people just think about when they think about places to fly. There's lots of airports that jump to people's minds, and lots that don't. Speaking of airports that don't jump to people's mind when they say, "Hey, I'd love to fly there," is Newark. One of the busiest airports in America, and not a single soul ever wants to fly there. On VATSIM, it's always just a completely dead airport. There is actually one departure and one arrival into Newark right now, but it's just such a dead airport. When you think about it as the scale of that airport, like in the real world, it is on par with most of the rest of the major hub airports of North America. It's on par with the Bostons and Washington, for basically what is a 2-runway airport. It's a very, very busy airport, squeezed into a very small space of land, but it's just one that nobody ever really thinks about. No one in their life, I swear, has ever said, "I really want to go to New Jersey. I want to go to the part of New Jersey that's right across from New York, because that's the scenic part of New Jersey." So it's funny, but it's a busier airport in the real world than Las Vegas, but Las Vegas and VATSIM always gets more traffic because it's just got this it's got this quality. It just got this sort of infamy to it, if you will. So it's one of those ones that you see a lot more traffic. So the traffic in VATSIM doesn't always correspond to the traffic in the real world, because the traffic in the real world, of course, is based on business. Traffic on VATSIM is based more on just what people are in the mood for flying. Where's their good scenery? Where's their good ATC online? But that really got me off on a tangent. But Los Angeles, this guy was working really hard, and he has a lot of great airports under his control. So he's got Los Angeles, he's got Vegas, and he's got San Diego. San Diego's not a huge airport by any means, but it's definitely a busy airport. And again, it's another one of those ones in the flight sim world that's got a very it's very infamous. People like to fly there. It's not a particularly busy airport. It's not even an international airport. There are no international flights to San Diego, but it's just one that people just enjoy flying to. It's a single runway airport. It's a little bit busy, but it's a very scenic area. It's very close to downtown San Diego, so super scenic. So lots of people like to fly there. So this guy was working, like, I was shocked at how hard this one guy was working. It was in evening. I think it was Thursday evening, Wednesday evening. I can't remember, one of the evenings this week, so it wasn't even Friday evening, but he was just working so hard. And the other thing, too, about Los Angeles is there is tons of great VFR flying around there, too, and that's one thing that you see a lot as well, is you see a lot of, not just VFR flying, but a lot of, like, general aviation flying. You'll see there's tons of great general aviation airports all in that Los Angeles basin. You've got Burbank, Van Nuys, Santa Barbara, Ontario, Palm Springs, like, just all over the place. And none of them are far apart. That's the great thing too. So like they're all like within the Los Angeles TRACON. Like even in like even in a Cessna, you can do a lot of these flights in like 30 minutes. So it's great to log on, just do a flight, and just in a short period of time. And these are some of the windows that really win out. Are these windows where you get a lot of short flights in there. I guess we could get this guy to contact me now. I was just sitting there looking at the VATSPy window so long I didn't even get this guy to contact me here. Oh, looks like our Martinair there has pushed. Good. He's getting there. Ontario's got, and for people who know Ontario, there is actually a fairly nice number of airports all around, but one of the more common ones you see as well is London.
Toronto Center, good morning, Delta 986 flight level 320 inbound call for Romeo Bravo.
Delta 986 Toronto Center, good morning, squawk ident, please.
Identity no.
There he is. Delta 986 Toronto Center, thank you. You're identified. Flight level 320, continue on course.
Continue on course, Delta 986.
All right. So we got another one there. Air Canada 404 just called up for his thing on text here. His clearance on text. So hopefully we'll. Let's see here. Do I have that blocked off still? I think I did have that blocked off, so let me just take that away. Yeah, so he called up for his clearance on text there. He's our first text pilot of the day. Probably won't be our last. Let's see if he reads back his clearance. And yeah, this Martin Air here is ready to taxi from Cargo West. One thing that I did notice, and I have noticed a little bit, because now I've been flying the CRJ for a couple of days now, and I have done a couple flights in and out of Toronto. Clear to Montreal via Dickey 4, make a low departure, flight plan route departing 23, squawks 0550. And let's see here. And read back correct, push back is at your discretion, call when ready for taxi. Yeah, so one thing I have become a little bit acutely aware of now, I've been flying the Aerosoft CRJ, which is a great airplane, but boy, the default Microsoft Flight Simulator scenery at Toronto Pearson sucks big time. I just did a flight in and out, and it's just, I've been using Fly Tampa's Toronto in P3D and FSX before that even for so long, I just forgot what default scenery at Toronto could look like and how just mediocre it could be. And I think this is one thing that's going to hold Toronto back for a little while, is that Toronto does not have any good scenery yet in the MSFS world.
285 Charlie Heavy, we are ready to taxi.
Martin Air 285 Charlie Heavy, Toronto. Information is now Mike. The altimeter in Toronto is 3057. For runway 23, taxi out Echo Bravo, Echo and Hotel, cross runway 23. Correction, cross runway 33 right and hold short of 23.
Okay, extra information, Mike, out of Echo Bravo, taxi left Echo, via Hotel, cross runway 33 right and hold short runway 23. And can you second the altimeter, please, for Martin Air 285 Charlie?
Martin Air 285 Charlie, the altimeter Toronto is 3057. And are you going to require the full length for 23 from Quebec, or will you be able to take off from Hotel?
Negative, we'll requesting Quebec and altimeter 3057, Martin Air 285 Charlie.
Martin Air 285 Charlie, perfect. On Hotel, hold short of Quebec.
On Hotel, hold short of Quebec, Martin Air 285 Charlie.
Not too many people usually need that full length, but I figure a 747 loaded with cargo, very good chance he's going to need that. So he's taxiing at this time. This guy's readback was correct, and he's pushing. Quebec is one of those weird little anomalies that you have to sort of be a little bit familiar with, but Quebec basically, because of what you'll notice about Quebec is how close it is to the runway here. It's not the standard parallel taxiway distance. It's extremely close here, and especially what it does is it impinges upon the localizer glide slope for runway 23. So if anybody's on approach for 23, you can't have an airplane stopped on Quebec. And it even impinges upon the safety area because it's so close. You really can't have anybody more than a couple of feet down Quebec. So normally Tower is responsible for dealing with everybody on Quebec. So that you'll just have to hold short of Quebec and then switch to Tower, and Tower will take care of you from there. So it's one of those odd ones. It's not expected that you're going to depart from Quebec unless you specifically state you're going to do it. That being said, of course, most people in the VATSIM world would not know that. So that's why I'm trying to provide a little bit of information here, gather a little bit of information. I think it says it on the chart, though, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check my Navigraph chart here. No, not there. I think it says it on my chart. I think it says it on the chart that 2-3 from Quebec requires authorization, but now I'm just curious. I swear I've read it, so I'm pretty sure it's on the chart, but I'm not certain now. So now I'm going to see what it actually says on the chart. Let's see here. Let's see. Yes, it does. It says normal runway 23 departures are from taxiway hotel. Runway 23 departures do not enter taxiway Quebec without specific clearance from ATC. Aircraft requiring full length must notify ground control on initial contact. So yes, it's printed on the chart. That being said, it is on... hold on a second here. If I can pull this up here. There we go. That being said, here is here it is.
In Toronto Center, WestJet 25.
WestJet 25 Toronto, that broke up after your call sign. Say again.
Yeah, just looking to step out for a few minutes, if possible.
WestJet 25, not a problem. Report back.
Will do.
Okay, so he's going to step away. I marked that on his tag. So again, if I can go back to, let's see here. If I can go back to this. Yes, there we are. So yeah, so here is, right here is where it says it. Normal runway 23 departure from a hotel. Runway 23 departure. This right here. Out of all this long span of text, how many VATSIM pilots really read all of these operational notes before they flew out of Toronto today? I'm going to wager few to none. That's what I'm going to go with on this. So anyways, it's not entirely surprising, but sometimes that's part of what you have to do as a VATSIM controller. You have to kind of manage the situation, fish for data a little bit, if you will. You know, try to see what's going to happen. Oh, here's the Skyways 799 again. He's back. He's going out of Oshawa to City Center, so that's definitely going to require some service from us as an Oshawa Tower controller and as the City Center controller, so that's great. So let's see if I can bring up the Oshawa Tower here. There it is. And while I'm doing that, I might as well open up the City Tower as well. There it is. And communication, ready for taxi. All right, runway 23, information Mike, altimeter 3057, taxi Alpha Kilo, Alpha and Hotel, hold short 23, advise ready. Here comes the Martinair. All right, so now we're starting to get some traffic building here. It's not super smoking busy like the guy was dealing with LAX the other night. I was pretty impressed with his share of traffic for just a weeknight and how well he was handling it. But again, and this is another thing about a lot of the Canadian sectors. A lot of the Canadian sectors, they feel like edge sectors. And what I mean by that is, like, it feels like most of the traffic is it feels like they're on the edge of a huge area of traffic, which of course is the United States. And so a lot of our traffic tends to focus in that direction. Runway 23, we got Mike, 3057, Alpha Kilo, Alpha Hotel. So you don't tend to get too much traffic going up north. You get some east-west crossing traffic, but especially going north, you tend to get very little traffic. Whereas in a lot of these other sectors, there's just so much traffic in every direction, especially in the middle of America. And that's something you don't get, and I find that's the case in all these sectors, in Toronto, in Montreal, in Winnipeg, Edmonton, because it covers such a huge area. You do tend to get a little bit more of that overflight traffic. And BC, the same thing. You get a fair amount of like east-west traffic in BC, and then you also get a little bit of north-south traffic up the coast going up to Alaska from America. But it's amazing how many pilots just skip right past Canada, even if we've got good ATC online. Just not even in their thought process. All right, this guy's just about there. Take another scroll around the screen here. Nothing much happening. Oh, here comes the Air Canada 421. He's text as well, but at least he'll provide some activity. And Martiner 285 Charlie Toronto. You can taxi Quebec to runway 23. Contact me airborne. Winds are calm. Clear for takeoff runway 23.
Via Quebec, clear for takeoff runway 23 and report airborne, March Chicago 285 Charlie.
Alright, well the Qatari and the WestJet Empress were never really much of a conflict there, that's for sure. Alright, I should really be updating these tags here. I get a little bit lazy about it sometimes when I'm on myself. When I'm mentally aware of everything that's going on, I become a little bit lazy about these things, and I really shouldn't. It's undisciplined. I should be a little bit more on top of it. If anybody has any questions out there too, just let me know. If you have any questions about VATSIM ATC or what you're seeing, what goes on in Toronto specifically, I always see lots of errors being made by pilots in Toronto, and they fall into the same common couple categories of errors. So if you have any questions about anything to do with ATC, especially within the Toronto area, please just ask. I'd love to answer any questions for any pilots that might be watching out there. Oh, this guy does not have a tag anymore. He must have fallen off the network for some reason. The perennial problem in Toronto, of course, is people who take off Toronto with LNAV engaged and immediately turn towards the first fix, which is not at all what the charts say to do. And it's one of those things. It just bugs me a little bit. Well, it bugs me more than a little bit, but if you take the time to read the charts, that's the most important thing. Don't just program the FMS and assume that the plane's going to do everything correctly. The FMS is just a tool to help the pilot fly the route he's supposed to fly correctly, but the route that you're supposed to fly is not the one that's in the FMS. It's whatever's printed on the chart. That is the SID. The chart is the SID. The FMS is just a helper to get you there. Alright, here comes the Empress. Or not the Empress, the Martinair. And the Air Canada's about halfway through his taxi.
Martinair 285 Charlie airborne.
Martinair 285 Charlie Heavy, say passing altitude.
Passing 1,300 feet.
Martinair 285 Charlie Heavy, thank you. Identified, climb flight level 230.
Clear for default 230, March Chicago 285 Charlie.
Coordination from Montreal. Here comes Air Canada 421. Martinair 285 Charlie Heavy at 3,600. Turn left, direct Saver on course.
At 3,600 feet, turn left, direct Saver, Martinair 285 Charlie.
And Martinair 285 Charlie, I just want to make sure the altitude was correct. 3,600?
Yes, I confirm 3,600.
Thank you very much. Sounded a little bit like you said 2,600, so just wanted to confirm that. Not trying to be a rude name about it. That Skycraft guy disappeared again. I don't think he's gonna fly this flight. I don't think he's gonna fly this flight. I think he's gonna just keep on logging on and logging off. All right, Air Canada 421 inbound Toronto, but he's text only, but what can you do? He's on the Ragged 5 arrival, which is what it's on here, so that's perfect. Yes, 24 right, Tornage for the Ragged 5, love it. That is all correct. Just need to switch to my frequency. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I'm happy to say that our controllers are nice, patient people too, especially in Canada.
Russia 25, back to you.
WestJet 25 Toronto, thank you. Because yesterday we were flying in the CRJ and it was just not navigating properly to save its life, and I don't know why. I don't know. Hey, how's it going? It's been a couple of streams since I've seen you around. Yeah, we were flying around in the CRJ yesterday, and for the first time out of about 4 flights I've done, it really had a hard time tracking its flight, and I don't know why. The FMS would not track the flight plan route to save its life, and I don't know why. It did well for about the first half of the flight, then all of a sudden it just kept on going past a waypoint, and it just kept on thinking that the route was south, and nothing I could do. Tried to a couple of fixes on the flight plan. Nothing I could do could seem to divert it back onto its flight plan route. So there's definitely some gremlins still lurking in that airplane. Fortunately, the controller was super patient with us. I was chatting with him, and he's like, "Yeah, I see you guys are flying the CRJ, so I'm not surprised that I'm not surprised that you're having issues." And you know, there was nobody else around, so he was not making a big deal out of it. Which is great, because then it just sort of gave us some time to it was me and a friend, we were both flying the CRJ, and both of us were having different issues with it, so it was nice to see him. It was nice that he was very patient with us, wasn't concerned at all. Oh, there it is. Just trying to look this up here. Okay, so the Air Canada's taking off now. Call airborne, winds calm, clear takeoff 23. And we got a bunch of people leaving our airspace almost at the same time here. Let's see here. Ragged arrival. We'll still keep this guy well to the south. Martin Air 285 Charlie Heavy. Proceed direct Iptos on course. Climb flight level 310.
Flight level 310 and confirm direct Verdo, Martin Air 285 Charlie.
Martin Air 285 Charlie, direct Iptos, India Papa Tango Oscar Sierra.
Roger, direct Iptos, Capt Nabs 310, Martin Air 285 Charlie, thanks.
Roger. Might as well give him the shortcut. Delta 986 Toronto, you're now leaving my airspace to the west. Neither Cleveland nor Minneapolis are online. You can switch to Unicom 122.8. Have a good rest of your day.
Monitor Unicom 122.8 for Delta 986. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye-bye. Qatari 8026 Heavy, Toronto, you're leaving my airspace to the west. Minneapolis is not online. Switch to Unicom 122.8. Your radar service terminates, and have a good day.
Alright, Norm Unicom, have a nice one. Qatari 8026 Heavy.
Alright, so they're gone. Air Canada's just lifted off here on his way to Montreal. By giving this guy a shortcut as well, it helps me give more room to get this guy going, because he's a heavy. He's climbing, but he's not climbing quickly. And taking a break from flight sim for a month or two, huh? Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if I should do that. I don't know what I would do with my day, though. Being underemployed does not does not bode well for me, anyways. So let's see. Alright, so he's identified. I told him to climb to flight level 230. And he should be good to follow this guy at 3,600, I think. The 7.4 is definitely accelerating now. He's hit 400 knots ground speed already, so. Just waiting for him to hit the noise abatement altitude of 3,600. There it is. The family started a new construction company. Well, that's good. I mean, that is really good that that they've got the ability to do that. You know, it's a tough economy right now, so I wish you lots of luck with that, with starting a new company. I hope that works out really well for you, and good and important to help out with family, obviously too. So you can probably still set some of those 12-hour flights going before you leave for work, and then just set pause at top of drop and log back on when you get home from work. I've done that a few times. I actually had one time I did it. I was supposed to be at work for about 2 hours, so I was probably supposed to be out of my house for about 4 hours in total. So I set going before I left. I set going a flight in the 37 from San Diego all the way to one of the New York airports. I think it was JFK. But anyways, I set this flight going, and I thought, okay, you know, I'll be home in 4 hours. So I just turned on pause at top of drop, and I started doing the flight. And then, of course, I get to work, and they're like, no, actually, we need you to stay for 2 days. What? Yeah, change of plans. So yeah, that 2-hour flight. Yeah, after that, we're gonna need you to go do something else, and so 2 more days. So it ended up being it was 3 days by the time I got back to my computer, and it was just sitting there paused at the top of descent for pretty much almost 3 whole days before I finally got back and finished that flight. So I mean, that's the one nice thing is when you got that pause at top of drop function, you can do so much with it. Eric, no, he's text only. So thank God for the top drop function, and I don't think the CRJ has that ability, and I'm not sure that MSFS really supports it because there's not really a pause mode in MSFS. Apparently, even when things are paused, the only way to really pause it is to go into the menu, to hit escape and go into the menus in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And even when you do that, apparently a lot of the code in the sim is still running. Systems are still actually running. I think your fuel burn pauses, but info mic. So information's Mike, runway 24 right when ready to descend, flight level 240. So he's going to be approaching his top descent soon. Yeah, I'm sure. Business is booming and you've never seen so many people want to apply for a job before. Yeah. Anything, and the thing about the construction trade too is construction has always historically been a decent paying job. You know, and I don't mean this to disparage anyone, but for a job that doesn't generally require like a higher education, like a college or a university education is not required to become a construction worker. It generally is it's a decent paying job. So absolutely, if you're putting job postings out there for construction workers, I would be surprised if you were not getting tons of applicants in this job environment, because it's unfortunate. It really truly is, but it's not a great time to be hunting for a job at this point if you don't already have a job. There are tons of people out there looking for work. Unfortunately, a whole bunch of my coworkers are going to be out there looking for work very soon, and I wish them lots of luck. I really do. I feel lucky that I've been allowed to to keep a role, to be sort of taken care of, and so many of my coworkers were not, and so I certainly wish them good luck. I know there are a few places that are hiring. Apparently, Apparently, I think Flair Airlines is hiring a bunch of flight attendants to ramp up their operations. So some people have gotten interviews there. So it's good to see that like there are jobs out there, but they're not necessarily easy to find, and they're going to require in some cases a lot of people to be adaptable, ready to accept a new situation, a new line of work altogether. A lot of the jobs that people have had in the past are just not there anymore. They just don't exist anymore, and they may not ever exist again, or they may not exist for a while. So now, unfortunately, is a time where a lot of people may have to consider a permanent career change. So construction's a good one to get into. I don't know if I could do it. I'm not a particularly well-built individual, so I wouldn't mind it. Like, I love doing stuff with my hands. I'm a practical guy, and I like doing stuff with my hands. But whether I could do it as a 12-hour job, yeah, I don't know if I would have the endurance to do it, I think is the best way to say it. I've done a few construction projects. I built a boathouse 2 summers ago. Built almost an entire boathouse, and what started out as a very small boathouse suddenly became a much bigger boathouse than we'd ever planned, and turned into a much bigger job than ever planned. For like a week straight, I was up at like 7 a.m. until it was basically dark. Worked from 7 a.m. till dark. Wow, 12 new employees. Well, that's good. That's great. That's good that your company's booming and that you're able to hire people as well and provide them with employment. Good all around. Good that things are coming back. I feel like the construction industry in this part of the world has not done too badly for itself. It was kind of caught in the first couple of shutdowns, but they've mostly been kind of booming because the construction is one where you're not a frontline worker. You do have people working in kind of close environments, but oftentimes it's kind of open air. Depends on the phase of construction, but also you're not interacting with like the general public at a construction site normally. It's a set of people, so it's kind of a bit of an isolated community. It's the people who are interacting, facing the public, people that they don't know anything about day in and day out. Those are probably the highest risk jobs right now. Just watching these guys here. This can't afford to. One's going to need lower. And 7,000. What happened to my Air Canada 404? I didn't even notice he disappeared. It's funny, like you'll be sitting here staring at the screen and airplanes, morning Ziad, airplanes will disappear and you won't even notice it. They're just there 1 minute and then you look away and they're not there, but there's nothing really ever is highlighted by the fact that an airplane falls off your radar, so it just simply is no longer there. So you often don't notice the absence of these things till long after the fact. I wonder if we're going to get any more people in here today. I would have expected to see a couple more people logging in Toronto. And it's funny, like some mornings you log on and within minutes you've got a dozen or 2 dozen people logged on in Toronto. I think there is quite a lot of ATC online today. Let's see, 1,900 total connections, and that's 153 controllers in that. So there's a lot of different controllers, so people kind of have their pick of where to log in and fly today. So it's not like I'm the only person online. I find that often weekday mornings end up being almost a little bit better because there's a little bit less traffic on the network, but there's also less controllers. So the few people that are on the network are really trolling for the controllers, if you will. I'm sure everybody's happy if you're spending money these days. 7 new trucks for the construction company. That's good. That's good. I'm glad. I hope that works out for you. I hope you'll still find the time to come in and fly and enjoy the hobby, because you need a chance to relax and get away from the real world too. So I hope you'll continue to be able to do that, to be able to enjoy your hobby as well as, of course, working hard and supporting the family. That's important. That's absolutely obviously important. But make sure you take some time for yourself and do what you enjoy. Even if you just grab that new CRJ, just boot it up and just do a short flight. The CRJ is really kind of nice for those short flights. So although I say that, and I'm not really sure 100% that's true, because the one thing I find about the CRJ is it's a busy airplane. There's lots to do because there's no auto thrust. You're managing the power takes a surprisingly large amount of your attention away from doing all the rest of the tasks. With the airplane. There's a certain leg length where if it's much shorter than that, it's almost too much for that airplane. the ideal is you got to be at least 30 minutes in the air, I would say. If you're anything less than 30 minutes, I find the CRJ, especially the first 5 minutes after takeoff, are just incredibly hectic in the CRJ. There's so much to do right after takeoff, and especially because you're flying a single pilot. In the real world, I don't think it's as bad because you would have a two-crew environment where you'd at least have one person who's able to dial in the speeds and the altitudes while the other person is flying and or retracting the flaps and all this other stuff. But because you're doing everything by yourself, you're getting the power back, you're trying to wind up the speed, you're trying to retract the flaps, you're trying to switch the departure frequency, trying to engage the autopilot, trying to go direct to your first fix. Because of all those things you're trying to do at the same time, that first 5 minutes after departure, I find the CRJ is super hectic. It's a great fun airplane, but very hectic that first little bit. These guys are just about in Montreal's airspace. I'll hand them off in another minute or two here. And then it's going to get very quiet in my airspace. I'm going to hand off those two guys, and we're only going to have 2 airplanes left. What else we got here? Anything else coming in? Let's see here. We got an Endeavour. Oh, we got a CRJ. We got a CRJ. Just took off from Detroit, coming into Toronto. Good, good. Okay, so we got another one coming in. We got one guy who just took off from New York, so he might just make it in here before we're done our flight here. So we are getting a few more things in here. Toronto's starting to pick up a little bit. I'm just hoping we pick up a few departures as well, because I'm probably going to be here until about 16 Zulu. That's probably when I'm going to log off, so in about 45 minutes. Ziad says, how was the flight last night? Last night's flight was not great. I think I was saying this earlier, but you weren't here yet. For some reason, the CRJ had a real tough time navigating yesterday, and I don't know why. I was trying to go direct to different fixes in the FMS, and for whatever reason, it wanted to just continually fly a route that was somehow south of its correct route. So I don't know what was going on with that airplane yesterday, which is funny because like the RNAV has basically been flawless in that airplane for the previous 4 flights I did. 3 flights, 4 flights, however many flights I did before, it was almost flawless. And then for some reason, yesterday's flight from Toronto to Ottawa, short flight, should be easy peasy, and it was just could not pick up the track to save its life. And it was drawing the track on the screen just fine. I could see the track, I could see where it was supposed to be, but it just was not. It was not following that route in the least. It was so far off course, and yeah, I ended up having to just switch it into heading mode and just dial in the headings manually to fly the route because it just was not doing it. Empress 547, contact Montreal Center now 128.77. Have a good day.
2877 Empress 547. Thanks.
See ya. WestJet 25, same for you. Montreal Center 128.77, and have a great flight.
4128.77 for WestJet 25. Have a good day.
There we go. Now we're down to 2 airplanes in my airspace. That's the way it is sometimes. When you're a controller, it can be very hit or miss, depending on the time of day. And if there's no events going on, it can be totally hit or miss. You can have a day that's just a nice total workload the whole time, or you can have a day that's just a snooze. And no, I don't think it was VATSIM at all. Ziad said, could the CRJ flight problems been because of VATSIM? No, I don't think it was at all VATSIM. It was just something with the FMS. Something with the way the FMS is programmed. It was not correctly following its flight plan. I don't know if I somehow botched the input. I mean, all the waypoints were there. It was drawn on the navigation display correctly. It was showing all the waypoints in the correct order on the navigation display. But then for some reason, the flight director just wanted to take us way off course whenever you'd engage nav mode. So it was the strangest thing. I think all the flights I've done in the CRJ I've done on VATSIM. So, and VATSIM should have no interaction whatsoever with that. All VATSIM does is just simply read the data passively from the sim and send it off to the network. It does not. It's not a two-way street with VATSIM. It's the VATSIM clients just simply take data from the sim. The only thing that they will send to the sim is information about the squawk code. And the currently tuned frequency on the radios. If you tune the radios or the squawk or set the squawk code through the client, it will send that information to the sim. That is, I think, the only information that it sends to the sim. It also, okay, no, that's not true. It will also send information about other airplanes. It'll send data about where the AI airplanes are, where the other VATSIM traffic is in the network. It'll send that to the sim as well. But in terms of affecting the airplane you're flying in, it should have zero impact. So yeah, I don't know what it was. It was weird. I'm going to do another flight at some point, and hopefully it'll work a little better. I think this is the Endeavour right here. I think this guy's squawking 2000. It's Endeavour 4662 from Detroit to Toronto, so he's going to be here in about... Oh. There we go. So I have assigned him a squawk code. When he calls up on the radio, I've got a squawk code ready for him. And this Air Canada, is this the Airbus? Yeah, so that could be the Microsoft Flight Simulator Airbus, because it seems like he's leveling off a little bit early. Seems like he got down a little bit earlier than he should have. So I'm gonna go ahead and chalk that up to he's probably flying the Flight Simulator Airbus. And as a controller, you become aware of these things. You see things. You see all sorts of interesting trends when you're a controller in VATSIM. One of the trends you'll see a lot of is airplane types. So this guy right here is flying a Caravan. I'll bet dimes to dollars he's in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This guy flying the 320, because he's not doing a particularly good job with the VNav, I'm going to bet he's in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. 744, no, that could be P3D or X-Plane. These guys 319, 73, could be X-Plane, could be P3D, but I'd say probably not Microsoft Flight Simulator. But you see these trends. This guy is flying the CRJ 700. I bet dimes to dollars he's flying the Aerosoft CRJ, and he's in Flight Simulator. So it's funny, these things you see the different types of airplanes around, and it makes you you make some judgments about what sim you think there are, and you see these trends. Like I said, in the last 6 months, especially in the last 3 months or so, the CJ4 has become extremely popular. I think what is a working title that made the mod for it. So that's been extremely popular in the last 4 months. Caravans are quite popular. TBMs have become very popular where they were not very popular at all before. So a lot of these default Microsoft Flight Simulator airplanes, especially some of the faster, more performance-intensive ones, so things like the TBM, the Caravan, you see a lot of those bombing around. You see these trends, and yeah, like whatever it was, about a month ago when PMDG dropped the update to their 777, there was nothing but 777s bombing around the VATSIM network for about a week or so afterwards. So yeah, you see all these interesting little trends. You see that you see what airplanes pilots are interested in. You see what software they're interested in, because you see it in the aircraft types that they're flying. Let's see if the CRJ is going to be on course here. Yeah, it looks like he's on course, more or less, maybe. He's on his way to a fix called Floca, which is the first fix that I recognize in his flight plan. Let's see if he turns to Zetter and Tanko here. He's on a Zetter 3 departure, and this is probably the common fixes now. See if he makes this turn. Yeah, no, he's making the turn. So yeah, it looks like his CRJ is tracking the route properly. Can't say the same can't be said for everybody, but all right, and our Jazz pilot is back here. Jeff's back. Let's see, he's going off to Ottawa. Got all that in there. We're going to give him a new squawk code. There we go. And this Endeavour guy here. So it looks like his flight plan is working properly today. More than could be said for mine last night, but hey, can't win every time. And this guy is just about to enter Montreal's airspace, so I guess we'll get ready to hand him off. Martin Air 285 Charlie Heavy, Toronto. Contact Montreal Center now on 128.77. G'day.
Contacting Montreal, correction, Montreal on 128.775, Montreal 285 Charlie Heavy. Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there we go. We got one guy at least all the way through our airspace from start up to leaving the airspace. Canada 421 appears to be drifting down below his cleared altitude. Well, the descent stopped now. Make sure the altimeter is correct. Maybe he's not flying real world weather. Alright, and this Endeavour's about to enter my airspace. Endeavour 4662, Toronto, are you here? Call him once politely, no answer. Send him to contact me. Well, at least Air Canada 421 stopped his descent. Alright, yeah, he's flying Microsoft Flight Simulator. See? Told you. It's amazing how you become aware of these things after a while. You just notice this trend. My guess is that he doesn't have the real weather turned on, or it's not loading up correctly.
Good morning, Endeavour 4662, flight level 330, just past waypoint Tango. We have information November.
Endeavour 4662, Toronto, good morning. Squawk code 0560.
Squawk 0560, Endeavour 4662.
See, now he's getting back up to 7,000, so my guess is that he forgot to turn on live weather, realized it, and has now turned on live weather, and now the altimeter setting that he put in is now correcting itself. That's my guess. You know, and it does. At the end of the day, we're all here to have fun, so I'm not overly concerned, especially because there's no other traffic around to cause a conflict with him. Just trying to make sure create an equal playing field for everyone to have fun in here. Endeavour 4662, Toronto. You're identified. Flight level 330. Information is November. Plan the ILS to runway 24 right.
We'll plan for the ILS runway 24 right. Endeavour 4662.
Endeavour 4662, Roger. When ready, descend flight level 240.
When ready, descend flight level 240. Endeavour 4662.
Alright, so I cleared him direct Ebdal down to 4,000, basically just kind of cut out the dog leg a little bit, make it a little easier for him to get in. No sense in making the flights longer than they have to be. I think the Endeavour's route is pretty direct at this point. Yeah, his route's pretty direct, at least till he gets into the terminal unit, so I'm going to just leave him on course right now, because there's not really too much time I can save him. Proceed direct Ebdal, descend 4,000. Yeah, so he acknowledged. So good, good. We're getting there. We're getting there. Still a bit of a pity. I would have liked a little bit more traffic this morning. Well, we got Japan Airlines inbound from New York. He's airborne. He'll probably be here just before we finish up here, and then I think that'll be about it. We got a couple other people here, but yeah, no other inbound to Toronto. I think the only other inbounds, we got Endeavour here, down here somewhere. We've got somewhere right about here, we've got the Japan Airlines, so he'll be here probably in about 30 minutes, so we'll probably be able to get him on the ground, and then that'll be about the end of it, I think. All right. Yeah, it's a pity. It's a bit of a snooze this morning. You never know when you log on what it's going to be like. I try to always put in at least 2 hours as well. I kind of make that my minimum time to be online, If it's going to be much less than that, it's almost not worth it. And Toronto's not a bad FIR because plenty of people can make it through Toronto and back out the other side in less than an hour. Assuming that they're logged on right when you start. And that's the thing is, first of all, you got to give like a half an hour to 45 minutes for the traffic to build up, and then provide an hour or two of service after that. But some of the bigger FIRs, especially Edmonton, you feel like 2 hours is just kind of, it's hilariously short in Edmonton because people will be in your airspace sometimes for 6 to 7 hours. So you log on, this guy was already halfway through your airspace, you talk to him, you identify him, you don't say a word to him for another 2 hours, and then you're like, okay, I'm logging off now. And meanwhile, the guy has only made it halfway through your airspace. I feel like the larger the airspace is, the more time I feel obligated to spend online. Montreal's similar too. Montreal's not quite as big as Edmonton by far, but it's definitely a large FIR as well. It's almost 1,000 miles from top to bottom, from north to south. It's, I think, about 500 miles or so across, but it's a very long one north to south. So you will get people who will take easily 2 hours sometimes to cross your airspace. But Edmonton, it just blows my mind to look at the scale of it. All right, let's get this guy down to 3,000. So descend 3,000, and let's see here if I can find a good. On press the heading, intercept the localizer, clear the ILS 24 right. Did the Endeavour start its descent? Yes. Endeavour 4662 Toronto, continue descent 12-2000. The Toronto altimeter 3057.
Descent to 12,000 feet, altitude 3057, Endeavour 4662.
Short flight. Detroit to Toronto, short flight in a CRJ. That's going to be like a 30-minute flight for this guy. But sometimes that's nice. That's all you have time for. Sometimes that's all you have time for in the VATSIM network. So you take what you can get, right? Like you just, if you've got longer, you would go ahead and boot up a flight and do a longer flight. But if you don't have the time, you do something nice and short. And sometimes that's all you have. All right, so he acknowledges he's cleared for the approach. It amazes me how many people have put away like 9, 10, 12 flights in the CRJ in like 4 days. I've done a flight a day pretty much. That's about all it's all I have time for usually in a day. Like I don't have a whole lot of like I have spare time, but I have other things to do in my life. So I find myself doing about a flight a day. But lately, like some of these people, like this new airplane comes out and they're day one they had like I just got 4 flights done. I'm like, what? In the real world, guys who are getting paid to do a 12-hour day don't do 4 flights in a day oftentimes. That is some dedication right there. Alright. How do I clear this guy to land? Tower, 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 tower. Winds are 3007, clear to land 248. Alright, so it looks like this Jazz pilot is going to do exactly what I tried to do last night. Let's see if it works for him, because it didn't work for me. I hope it works for him. I'm not trying to be a negative now.
Toronto Center, Jazz 170 on the ground. With information, November, ready to pick up IFR clearance over to Ottawa.
Jazz 170 Toronto, good morning again. You're cleared to Ottawa via the Verdo 6 departure and the L-sub transition. Flight plan route. Departures runway 23, squawk code 0575.
Cleared over Ottawa, the Verdo 6 departure, up sub transition, flight plan route, departure runway 23, and we'll squawk 0575 for Jazz 170.
Jazz 170, that's all correct. The information is November. Push back and start up at your discretion and call me when you're ready for taxi.
We'll call you for the taxi, Jazz 170.
Here's this guy. Oh, another CRJ. Another CRJ. The Japan Airlines CRJ coming into Toronto here. He's a little lost, I think. CRJs everywhere. Well, that's what I'm talking about. This is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. As you notice this trend, the popular new airplane, it becomes really evident on VATSIM. The VATSIM people are really community participators. They're really in tune with what's going on in the flight sim hobby, so they will be on top of the newest airplanes usually. So I'm not sure if I'm going to curse this guy or not, but if I give him direct Mayrod, does that keep him within the arrival box there? Nah, yeah, that'll do it nicely. That'll do it just fine. Endeavour 4662, proceed direct Mayrod to rejoin the star and descend 8,000.
Direct to Marod, confirm, and descend 8,000, Endeavour 4662.
Endeavour 4662, correct. Alright, turn right when able and say gate. Oh, and he's got it. He's got Alpha. Not too bad. Not too bad. And this guy came from Ottawa, so alright. Alpha Alpha Lima gate 142. I like to assign people gates sometimes if they don't have a specific gate in mind. It's not something that's normally done by ATC in Canada, but the funny thing is that, like, yes, there are delineations and boundaries between what ATC does and what other organizations do. But there's a lot of information sharing too. In Canada, it's, the controllers are not responsible necessarily for assigning gates or anything like that, but they will have that information on their screen as well at a major airport. They'll know what gates people are assigned to because it's going to affect their taxi route. And they even know, like, when the gate is available. If the gate's not available, it will be marked on their screen, and they'll actually have to hold the airplane away from the apron until the gate becomes available. So information sharing is important. All right, we're going to see if we can get this Japan Airlines in here. How's he looking here? He's not going to even enter my airspace till 1600. Maybe we can get him in here, sneak him in here. Sneak him in here, sneak out the Jazz, and then I think that'll be it for the day. Unfortunately, it's just not working out to be a particularly busy day. There's a Speedbird that's logged on that doesn't have a flight plan yet. That's about it. There's not a whole lot going on here. There's a few inbounds, but that's it. So, yeah, unfortunately, just did not work out. There's tons of ATC. There's way too much ATC online, darn it. There's way too much ATC online, so there's no, there's no incentive for them to fly to Toronto. If this was a weekday morning, there would be a fraction of the ATC. Oh, I didn't even notice this. Oh, they're having their event too on the. Oh, that's probably why it's really kind of a snooze this morning. There's a Cross the Pacific event going on. That's. Oh, I didn't even zoom out on my VATSPy here. Now I'm looking at it. There are probably a couple hundred airplanes crossing from Tokyo, Incheon, and then there's a few other ones. There's Beijing as well. There's a few flows, Beijing, and even a few Taipeis by the looks of it. And then they're all going to the likes of San Francisco, Seattle. I swear I saw some LAXs in here. No, maybe not. Oh, yeah, there's a few LAXs mixed in there as well. Okay, that's why it's so quiet over here. That's why I can't lure any good traffic, because there's a whole ton of people in this event crossing the Pacific. And there's one guy on in Oakland FSS. Wow. I feel bad for that guy. He must have 100 airplanes in his airspace. One guy. Anchorage, on the other hand, has got just a handful of airplanes, and they got 3 controllers online. But this Oakland Oceanic guy, he's by himself, and he's got... Oh. He's got to have 100 airplanes, and it's not even all of the airplanes are in there yet. Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, it's sad too, but it's hilarious at the same time. Huh. Well, that explains why I'm not luring too much traffic this morning. What are you going to do? You take the traffic when you can get it, and if you don't get it, too bad. Now Speedbird is requesting the the PDC. Endeavour 4662 descend 6,000.
Descend 6,000 feet, Davis 4662.
Yeah, I think that's about right for 142. He's definitely in the right ballpark anyways. There's a Speedbird 99, no flight plan yet. Endeavour 4662 descend 4,000.
Descend 4,000, Endeavour 4662.
I guess I can get to these airports because I guess that Skycraft guy is not coming back. This Japan Airlines guy is a long way away. There you go, Speedbird. All right. So we gotta assign him a new code, and that.
Toronto Thunder, just Jazz 170 ready for taxi.
Jazz 170 Toronto. Information is still November. The altimeter is Toronto 3057. Runway 23, taxi out Alpha Kilo, Alpha Hotel, hold short of 23.
Okay, we'll go over 23 via Alpha Kilo Alpha Hotel, hold short 23, Jazz 170.
All right. All right, so he says he wants 410 for the final. He had the wrong altitude for the direction of flight in here. All right, so now I think he's good. So clear to London Heathrow via the Verto 6 Iptos departure, flight plan route departure runway 23, squawk 0504. He's a little bit high still. Endeavour 4662, fly heading 060, vectors for the ILS.
Heading 060, vectors ILS, Endeavour 4662.
Endeavour 4662, disregard that text, wasn't meant for you.
Gotcha.
Endeavour 4662, continue the left turn heading 330, descend 3000.
Left 330 and descend 3000, Endeavour 4662.
He just needed just a little bit more space. It was a little bit too early to turn him to 0 to 330. He probably would have cut in just a little bit too early, just judging by where his altitude is. So just needed just a little tiny bit more space to get around. And now we got another guy logged in. See, now the airplanes are starting to come. And now, of course, I'm getting ready to go. Never fails when you're just about getting ready to log off is when the airplanes start showing up. Never fails. Endeavour 4662, turn left heading 270 for the intercept, clear the ILS, 24 right.
Left 270, clear the ILS, 24 right, Endeavour 4662.
Yeah, that was something I didn't know either. The Jazz file is just telling me that, did you know that you can pop the panels out in the CRJ? And until last night, I did not. I discovered that myself last night. And I found it a little bit distracting at first. I'm going to have to get used to it because I've been very used to to using only track IR to fly the airplane. So So yeah, that really, I wasn't quite ready for it, so I found it was a little bit distracting at times, but it was definitely better than trying to see the tiny little screens just looking around. Alright, Endeavour's on there. Here comes Jazz up to the localizer there. The Speedbird's already pushed back. He was ready and raring to go. Let's get this flight underway. We got 8 hours till we get to Heathrow. Let's get going. Alright, they're both on the Verto 6 departure, so that'll be interesting, one following the other. But the Jazz is far enough ahead. It shouldn't be an issue. He's a couple minutes ahead. Alright, he's obviously on the approach, no problem. I can clear out the heading there. Jazz, it's almost there. Now it's getting a little more interesting. Things are actually starting to happen. Nope. The guy who was logged in over here, the Air Canada, is gone again. Too bad. What was this? Speedbird 9.
Endeavour 4662, establish 2 for right.
Endeavour 4662, thank you. The wind's 310 at 7, cleared to land, runway 24 right.
Clear to land, runway 24 right, Endeavour 4662.
Alright, so the Endeavour's cleared to land. The Jazz is just about to come around the corner here. And the Speedbird's got his taxi instructions. I'm actually very bad about this. These guys both had their clearances. This guy's going to depart in a second. This guy's on taxi. Doing a very bad job here. And I would be more cognizant of it if other people were here too. Jazz 170, Toronto, contact me once you're airborne. The wind's 310 at 7, clear for takeoff, runway 23.
Clear for takeoff, runway 23. We'll contact you airborne, Jazz 170.
And now the Jazz pilot's just commenting on, again, how bad this default Toronto scenery looks. And my guess is, you know, there's tons of people that like Toronto. My guess is just that people are just intimidated by the complexity of it. It's such a complex airport. The buildings are beautiful, but they're very complicated. So for someone to try and model them even on a basic level, it'll take a long time because of just the sheer volume of buildings here. You've got the terminal here, which is made up of umpteen different segments. You've got the second terminal here. You've got all of these hangars. You've got the control tower, all the infield and the outfield. It's just like there's so many buildings located on this airfield. And last call for Toronto Centre was carrier only. Try again. Now it's starting to get a little bit busy, and now, of course, we're going to be logging off soon here, but you know, we'll stick around just long enough, hopefully. Oh, there's another. And calling Toronto Centre again, carrier only. Can't do 117 MIVOC. Can't do 117 MIVOC. Let's just get some stuff done in here, and then we're going to have to have a look at this guy's flight plan, because it's not workable as it is.
Toronto Center, Skycraft 799er, medevac, radio check.
Skycraft 799er, medevac, Toronto Center. I read you 5x5 now.
Excellent, Skycraft 799er, medevac on the ground at Oshawa, apron 4, via for departure to City Center.
Skycraft 799er, medevac, Toronto. The altimeter in Oshawa is 3056. The wind's 290 at 8, gust 15, runway 30. And a squawk code for you, 1246. Jazz 170, say the passing altitude.
Passing through 3,000.
Jazz 170, thank you. Climb flight level 230.
Climb 230, Jazz 170.
And Jazz 170, good luck with this. Left turn, direct saver on course.
Left turn, direct saver on course. Here we go, Jazz 170.
Skycraft 799, squawk 1246, and you ready to taxi now?
Airport Squawk 1246, and we're ready to taxi at this time.
Skycraft 799, taxi, Bravo, cross runway 05, hold short 30, and advise ready for takeoff.
Bravo cross 23, and hold short runway 30, and call you for Skycraft 799 medevac.
Ooh, medevac.
Endeavour 4662, request taxi to gate.
Endeavour 4662, turn right on Echo, and do you have a gate assigned?
Stand by,
So all of a sudden, boy, we got a whole bunch of airplanes here on the ground. I have to work on this guy's flight plan because that's not valid. He can't fly the Beaumont 7 departure in a CRJ, so...
Endeavour 4662, if possible, at Terminal 3, Gate Bravo 11.
Endeavour 4662, not a problem at all. Turn right on Echo. Taxi Echo up to Romeo, and then Romeo cross 33 right, Alpha Tango into the apron.
Toronto Center, radio check, Romeo Victor 9er.
Romeo Victor 9er, I've got you 5x5. Endeavour 4662, go ahead, 3 back.
Right on Echo, Romeo cross runway 33 right, and then join Bravo 11 at Alpha Tango, Endeavour 4662.
And Endeavour 4662, that's all correct, except you won't need to join Bravo. Romeo becomes Alpha Tango, straight into the apron.
Alright, Bravo and then Romeo to the apron, Endeavour 4662.
I think he's going to get there. I'll keep an eye on him. Okay, what are we going to do?
Toronto Center, good day. Blue Streak 315 with you, descending flight level 280 on the Ling Freestar.
Blue Streak 315, Toronto, good day, Squawk Cadet.
Squawk Cadet, Blue Streak 315.
Blue Streak 315, thank you. You're identified through 278. Continue descent 17,000. Toronto altimeter 3057. Information November, runway 24 right.
Continue descent to flight level 170, runway 24 right at Toronto, altimeter 30.57.
Let's see here. Okay, so he's ready to go. Speedbirds are clear for takeoff. And again, I don't know what to do with this guy here. We're going to have to give him one of these departures, but I don't know which one. So...
Center, Skycraft 799er, medevacs come up to the Ember ready.
Skycraft 799er, left turn out towards cities approved. And winds Oshawa 290, 8 gust 15. You're clear for takeoff, runway 30.
Left center approved, clear takeoff 30, Skycraft 799.
Toronto Center, Jazz 170.
Jazz 170, go ahead.
See that beautiful turn of Sabre?
Seems to be working for you. I hope it continues after Agnob.
Probably just jinxed myself, Jazz 170.
You probably did. Alright, after Agnob, that would probably be the best point for him to go.
Toronto Center, Romeo Victor 9er, ready to copy IFR to Thunder Bay. I have November.
Romeo Victor 9er, Toronto Center. Hello, you're cleared to Thunder Bay via the AVSEP 6 departure, Musit transition flight plan route, departure runway 23, squawk code 055
Cleared via the AVSEP 6 and Musit transition, then flight planned route from runway 23, squawk 0553, Romeo Victor 9er.
Romeo Victor 9er, your read back is correct. Pushback startup at your discretion. Call when ready for taxi information. November current.
Roger.
Jazz 170, continue climb, flight level 310.
310, Jazz 170.
Blue Streak 315, continue descent 11, 1000. Again, the altimeter 3057.
Continue descent 1000, Blue Streak 315.
Skycraft 799, Toronto. Just confirm your passing altitude.
We're passing through 2.4, Skycraft 799.
Skycraft 799, thank you. You're identified. You can continue on course to Toronto City. The city altimeter when you need it, 3059er, and you can plan a straight in for 26.
3059er, we'll plan a straight in for runway 26, Skycraft 799.
Okay, say passing altitude. Just telling me your airborne is no good if you don't give me the altitude. I have to verify that your altitude readout is correct. Okay, we're going to get him to level off at 7,000 for now because we got this guy inbound from the south. I think it's going to be okay. I think he's going to turn in front of this guy anyways, but let's just see how long it takes him to get to 3,600 before he starts the turn, before we worry about whether or not he's going to make it underneath the guy who's coming in from the south. Okay, the Endeavor's doing okay. He's going. He's fine. He's also got the wrong altitude for the direction of flight. Okay, so I don't think he's going to necessarily make it in front of this guy because he just doesn't seem to be turning particularly quick. So actually, let's make him do this. If I give him direct to Verdo, can he do Verdo yet? I thought I identified him. Let's do this. So if we run him over Verdo, it's going to cut right through the arrival boxes. No, we're just going to keep him down low a little bit, just to make sure. Alright, so we'll just try and cut him close to that arrival box. We'll try to just bring him around quickly here and in front of that guy. And as long as we can see the turn happening fast enough, it might be okay.
Toronto Center, Romeo Victor 9er is pushing back, ready to taxi to 23.
Romeo Victor 9er, Toronto. Information is November. Altimeter is 3057. Runway 23. Taxi out Alpha Kilo, Alpha, and Hotel. Hold short of 23.
3057 and Alpha Kilo, Alpha, and Hotel. Hold short 23. Romeo Victor 909.
Roger. Okay, so I want this guy to go to Verdo as soon as I think he's going to clear this box here. Skycraft 799 Toronto. The city center winds are showing 220 at 7. Altimeter 3059er. Cleared straight in runway 26.
Straight in runway 26. Skycraft 799er back.
All right, so this guy, he's just got to get him, see that he's going to make this turn safely in front of this other guy here. I think it's going to be fine, but I'm just playing it safe until we know for sure what's going to happen here. Just playing it safe. And I guess we can open up the ground view here so we can watch this guy taxi in. Finally got his medevac flight in there. Took him a while. It took a while, but he got it in the end. He got it in the end. So that guy's, this is a new flight plan, kept it to Bumpa to Boston. Yeah, that's fine. Avon Hank, yeah, it's all normal. Altitude's correct. Type looks good. It's all good. Alright, so definitely he's made the turn. He's well ahead of this guy. He can go to 230.
Toronto
Toronto Center, hello, Air Canada 1524. Stand 163 with information about requesting FR clearance over to Boston.
Air Canada 1524 Toronto, good morning. You're cleared to Boston via the Capt 2 departure, bump transition, and flight plan route. Departure runway is 23, the squawk code 0571.
Cleared to Boston via the Capt 2 departure, transition, and a filed departure run 23, squawk 0571. And can we confirm the restriction altitude for Canada 1524?
Air Canada 1524, your readback is all correct as is written on the plate for the Capt 2 departure. It is 5,000 feet.
5,000. Thank you, Air Canada 1524.
Thank you for checking. And information is November. Push and start at your discretion. Call when ready for taxi.
Call you for taxi, Air Canada 1524.
Blue Streak 315, descend 8,000.
Descend 8,000, Blue Streak 315.
Skycraft 799er Medevac Toronto, the winds again. 220 at 7, you're clear to land. Runway 26.
Clear to land 26, Skycraft 799.
Alright, so this guy is taxiing. This guy, redback his clearance successfully, and he's got the push clearance. This guy just needs a different altitude when he calls up. We're getting there. Now, of course, the second I'm talking about leaving is, of course, the time it gets busy. That's always the way the way it works in VATSIM. You think about leaving, you think about setting yourself a time to leave at, and then all of a sudden 10 people log on at that point. Always the way it happens in VATSIM, I swear. Well, we'll get a couple of more of these airplanes handled on their way, and then I think we'll get this blue streak especially established on final, and then I think we'll call it a day for this. What kind of airplane is this? Cheyenne? Yeah, it's a Cheyenne. These guys have been playing with the Cheyenne a while. The Skycraft has been, all of a sudden it never existed for a long time, and all of a sudden it's a very frequent call sign now here in the Toronto Fire.
Center, Romeo Victor 9er is holding short 23.
Romeo Victor 9er Toronto, contact me once you're airborne. The wind's 310 at 7, clear for takeoff, runway 23.
Contact when airborne, have the winds cleared for takeoff, runway 23, Romeo Victor 9er.
Blue Streak 315, proceed direct Mayrod, descend 6,000.
Direct Mayrod and descend 6,000, Blue Streak 315.
Apparently I can't spell here today. Okay, given Speedbird a climb to his cruise. And I'm not going to curse him by giving him a direct to anything. No, I'm not going to do it. Like that will not go well. If I clear him direct to something, it's probably going to fail. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly, but I had such trouble with that route last time. I don't want him to suffer from it as well. Skycraft 799er, taxi Foxtrot into the apron to your discretion. Have a good day.
Apron discretion, 799er, talk to you soon.
Not too many people actually simulate medevacs. It just adds a little interesting variety to the whole thing. Oops. Skycraft 799er, disregard. That text was not meant for you.
No worries.
The texts often screw me up here.
Toronto Center, Romeo Victor 9er is at 1700 for 7,000, off runway 23.
Romeo Victor 909 Toronto, thank you. You're identified. In future, the top altitude on all the Toronto SIDS is 5,000. You can climb flight level 230.
230 and have the info. Thank you, sir.
Blue Streak 315, continue descent 4,000, and after Mayrod, fly present heading.
Continue descent 4,000 and after Mayrod, continue present heading for Blue Streak 315.
Alright, and the Speedbird is disconnecting even before I had a chance to respond. Oh well, no big deal.
Toronto Center, did you give me flight plan route or runway heading? Missed that.
Romeo Victor 99, per the SID, you should be on a heading of 245. You've now reached the noise abatement altitude. Turn right direct, AVSEP on course.
AVSEP, thank you, sir.
Alright, so he is almost done there. The Jazz is almost done there. Ottawa, ATIS. Let's just see what he's going to expect in Ottawa. Jazz 170 Toronto. Ottawa's advertising 07 and a 14. When ready, descend 8,000. The Ottawa altimeter is showing 3045.
Okay, we're ready down to 8,000 and we can prepare for 07 if you can pass that on. Jazz 170.
Jazz 170. I will pass that along, requesting 07. And Blue Streak 315 after Mayrod, fly heading of 330.
After Mayrod, heading of 330 for Blue Streak 315.
Toronto Center, Jazz 170 is leaving flight level 310 for 8.
Jazz 170, thank you. Well, it seems to be working out for him. Blue Streak 315, fly heading 330.
Heading 330, Blue Streak 315.
Jazz.
Center, again, very good morning. At Aver 4663, now information November. Request clearance back to Detroit, please.
Endeavour 4663 Toronto, good morning. I have your request. I'll be right back with you. Blue Streak 315, descend 3000.
Descend 3000, Blue Streak 315.
Blue Streak 315, turn to left heading 270 for the intercept, clear the ILS 24 right.
Clear left heading 270, clear to the ILS, Blue Streak 315.
Romeo Victor 909er, continue climb, flight level 360.
360, Romeo Victor 909.
Endeavour 4663 Toronto, you are cleared to Detroit Metro via the Encol 4 departure, Goose transition, and flight plan route. Depart runway 23, squawk code 0537. Oh, I get it now.
To Detroit via the Encol 4 departure, Goose transition, flight plan route, runway 23, squawk 0537, and Aver 4663.
Endeavour 4663, your readback is all correct. Information November, and push and start at your discretion. Call ready for taxi.
Wilco, Endeavour 4663.
And Blue Streak 315, looks like we're a little late for the turn. Back to the left, 210 to re-intercept. You're still cleared the ILS 24 right.
Left heading 210 and still cleared for the ILS, Blue Streak 315.
And Jazz 170, apparently the winds have swung around in Ottawa. Plan runway 25 now.
Go plan for 25, Jazz 170.
Who is this guy over here that just suddenly appeared in my airspace? Without talking to anybody. He's going to leave it soon anyways. And Blue Streak 315, descend 2500. Field is at your 1 o'clock for about 8 miles. You have it in sight?
Descend 2500 and roger, field in sight for Blue Streak 315.
Blue Streak 315, you're re-cleared of visual approach, runway 24 right.
Cleared for visual approach, runway 24 right, Blue Streak 315.
Hello again, Skycraft 799 medevac.
Skycraft 799 medevac, Toronto, hello.
Toronto, Skycraft 799 refiled IFR flight plan for Sarnia.
Skycraft 799 Toronto, roger. You're cleared to Sarnia via the Perlo 4 departure, Durlo transition, and direct depart runway 26, squawk code 051
Skycraft 799 medevac, cleared to Sarnia, Perlo 4 departure, Durlo transition, direct, depart runway 26, squawk 0513.
Skycraft 799 medevac, your readback's all correct, and the altimeter at city is 3058. The wind's now showing 200 at 7. Advise ready for taxi.
Roger, Skycraft 799 ready, taxi at this time.
Skycraft 799, runway 26, taxi the apron at your discretion. Charlie Delta to hold short 26 and advise me ready.
Charlie Delta, contact you, hold short runway 26, Skycraft 799.
And Blue Streak 315 Toronto, the winds are showing 300 at 9. Are you clear to land? Runway 24 right.
Cleared to land 24 right for Blue Streak 315.
Romeo Victor 909er, proceed direct Sault Ste. Marie on course. Romeo Victor 909er Toronto, proceed direct Sault Ste. Marie on course.
Looking for IFR clearance to Gatwick. Hi, sorry, I missed that call. Romeo Victor 909er.
Romeo Victor 909er, direct Sault Ste. Marie on course. Sierra Sierra Mike.
Direct Sault Ste. Marie, Romeo Victor 909er.
And calling for the IFR to Gatwick. Missed the call sign, say again.
It's Walker 646 looking for IFR to Gatwick.
Walker 646, stand by. Break Jazz 170. Contact Montreal Center now, 128.77. Good day.
Over to Montreal Center. Thanks for the great service, Jazz 170.
No problem. Have a good one. Walker 646 Toronto, your altitude is incorrect for the direction of flight. Do you want 330 or 350 for the final?
I will take 350 for Walker 646.
Walker 646, I've made that amendment. You are cleared to London Gatwick via the Verdo 6 departure, Lorca transition, and flight planned route. Departures runway 23, squawk code 0551.
Say again for the departure chart.
Walker 646, it's the Verdo 6 departure and Lorca transition.
Verdo 6, Lorca transition, 646.
And Walker 646, confirm departing 23, squawk 0551.
It's going to be a runway 23 departure, squawk 0551 for 646.
Walker 646, the readback is all correct. Information is Oscar in Toronto. Push back and start up at your discretion. And you can monitor Unicom for taxi. We're going to be logging off shortly.
All right. Thank you, sir. Toronto Center, Air Canada 1524, ready to taxi.
Air Canada 1524 Toronto. Information is Oscar, the altimeter Toronto 3056. Taxi out Alpha Lima, Alpha and Hotel to hold short of runway 23.
Alpha Lima, Alpha Hotel 223, Air
And Blue Streak 315, welcome to Toronto. I see you've got Charlie 2. Continue the right turn on Echo. Do you know where you're parking?
Continue right turn onto Echo, and no, I didn't have any gate in mind, so stick me wherever's good for you. Blue Streak 315.
Blue Streak 315. Which colors are you flying today? Which airline are you associated with?
American Eagle, Blue Streak 315.
Okay, American. That would be Terminal 3, so Blue Streak 315, taxi Echo Romeo Alpha Tango into Terminal 3.
Taxi Echo Romeo Alpha Tango into Terminal 3 for Blue Streak 315.
Blue Streak 315, that's all correct, and I forgot to say it. You are cleared to cross runway 33 right.
Ava, I'm cleared to cross 33 right for Blue Streak 315, thanks.
Romeo Victor 9er, thank you very much for flying with us. Your service terminates this time. We're logging off, so switch back to Unicom 122.8 and have a good day.
Going to Unicom, and thanks again. Romeo Victor 9er.
Skycraft 799er, Medevac, Toronto, winds are 200 at 7. You can switch to Unicom 122.8. Once you're airborne, you're clear for takeoff, runway 26. Have a great day.
Clear takeoff 26. We'll switch to Unicom. You have a great one, sir. Skycraft 799.
And for all the aircraft on the ground, Toronto Air Canada 1524, Walker 646, Endeavour 4663. Sorry, but I've got to log off now, so switch to Unicom 122.8 for your taxi out and departure. Have a good rest of the day. We'll see you next time.
All right, thank you very much for saying Endeavour 4663.
And anybody else who is on the Toronto Centre frequency. Toronto Centre is now offline. Switch to Unicom 122.8. A good day to all.
Have a good day.
And that is it for me, guys. We are offline now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had some fun watching that one. That it was a slow start, and then the last half hour when I was planned to be offline already is when it really picked up. But got to get on with the rest of my day. So thank you guys again so much for watching the stream, and I hope you guys will continue to like the videos, watch all the videos on the channel, and make sure you subscribe to notifications because there will be more ATC popping up